Mae e wedi gwneud ei benderfyniad, a does neb yn gallu dadlau ag e.
Screwfix Sprint, yn noddi pêl-droed ar S4C.
Satwlis ar y foli, gol Ramsey ar ei linell! Gol! Yn sythio i Simmons, y cer a Simmons! Mae'r Flint ar y blaen! Mae'n syrthio John yn Carroll! A mae'r Gwyddel wedi selio 3 pwynt i'r Flint! Satwlis efo'r ger!
Good afternoon and welcome to the bright sunshine here in Deeside for the Flintshire derby. It's Connah's Cae against Flint Town United. Connah's Cae second in the JD Cymru Premier, entertaining Flint, who are up to 9th after their late 2-1 victory at home against Caernarfon on Friday evening. But it's a tough task for the visitors here this afternoon. Connah's Cae, they're on an unbeaten run of 16 matches in all competitions, their longest run ever, and they're unbeaten here at home at the Deeside Stadium. Now, the information about the teams for you. The home side, they make 2 changes from the side that conceded a late goal at home against the New Saints on Friday evening. Ryan Harrington's on the bench. Mike Wilde suspended after seeing a red card in that match. And in their place up front comes Joe Malkin, and Aaron Edwards replaces Ryan Harrington.
Yeah, no Ryan Harrington, as you explained there, Bryn. This is how we think that they're going to form, with Williams on the right-hand side as a wing-back. And, of course, Mike Wilde and his goals is going to be a miss for any side. Good opportunity for Malkin to come in.
One change made by Lee Fowler, the Flint Town United manager. He's had to leave Harry Owen out. He's on loan with Flint from the parent club, Connah's Cae. So Omar Ibrahim comes in.
Yeah, we're expecting a very similar formation, actually, between both sides. And the strength and power is the strength of both teams. And Flint will be lining up with 3 at the back, and they'll need to be resolute. They'll need to be organised to make sure that Connah's Cae's very good home record is affected in this afternoon's game. We see Callum Morris in the heart of the midfield for the home side. He is the man that makes them tick. He's so consistent, over 200 appearances, 63 goals from the middle of the park, a lot of them penalties. Very, very important player for the home side. And equally important for the visitors, a man who knows all too well what it's like to play here at Connah's Quay Nomads. James Owen in the middle of the park. He's tenacious, he's tough tackling, he's a leader. And the fact that he's going to be patrolling and shielding the balls into the Connah's Quay Nomads forwards, he's got an important job today.
Our referee is Iwan Arwel Griffith from Conwy. Flint haven't beaten Connah's Cae in, well, the Welsh Prem, we'll call it the Welsh Prem, since 1997. That's the last time they proved victory at home or away, as we await the first kick. I'm Bryn Thomas, by the way, and I'm joined by Owain Tudur-Jones. You heard his voice earlier on. And Owain, it's got to be a home banker, hasn't it?
I think that's what the majority of football fans across the nation expect to see today. I think Connah's Cae's home record has been so well, it's been mesmerising, if anything, and obviously the late goal conceded against TNS has put the scuppers on a little bit, but make no mistake, they had a difficult start to the season. I think losing 3 of their first 6. Since then, they've been brilliant.
Connah's Cae are in black, by the way, and Flint in the away colour of sort of day glow yellow. And interesting to know, Owen, why Connah's Cae aren't playing in their usual red home kit. Not too sure why.
Not a clue. Not a clue. Maybe there's a clash with the referees, and the referees these days sometimes like to be the centre of attention. Not this one, Ewan, of course. Maybe that's the reason.
Danny Holmes with the long ball up, looking for Joe Malkin, who's come through the ranks here at Connah's Quay, and it's with Callum Brackley, one of two former Flint players playing for Connah's Quay this afternoon. Ben Nash being the other one at the back, and they've got that understanding down the left-hand side of Nash and Brackley.
Yeah, nice little phase of play from Connah's Quay there. As soon as they got into the attacking half, this man will be pleased. Quick play, bright, sharp. The pitch is not the best. We can't hide away from that fact, Bryn. So the expectation is, as the game goes on, there's going to be a lot of long balls. But he'd be pleased to have seen his side just keeping the ball a good little phase of play there. No cross into the box, so that's the only thing that'll disappoint him.
It was interesting to see just down in front of us here, Neil Gibson and Mark Petch. Neil Gibson, the Connah's Quay manager, and Mark Petch, the fourth official this afternoon, just having a little chat. And I had a quick word with Mark Petch before the match went, and asking, well, how do you deal with all the abuse and what have you that you get as the fourth official? And he said what he did there now exactly, just have a little quick word, quick joke, and just tries to settle things down very, very early on. Opportunity here for Mark Cadwallader, just to Callum Morris. Under pressure again, and it's with Cae-y-Castell Simmons to Danny Harrison, former Connah's Quay player. 40 years old now, Danny Harrison, as is George Horan as well, by the way. There's hope for you yet, Owen?
I'm not sure about that, but it is an interesting point. I think looking at both sides, the average age of collectively both sides, there won't be many games having been in the Welsh or the Cymru Premier over the years with a higher average age, I'm sure.
Diaw just lets the ball run out of play there. Brandon Diaw, Congo under 20 international. We just hear, by the way, that both sides are playing in their away kits to raise awareness and to raise money for the homeless charity shelter. And that's the case for all the matches in the JD Cymru Premiership. So answers the question that we posed earlier on. Good to see you, Wayne.
Yeah, absolutely. A really worthwhile cause, especially, well, all year round, but this time of year, of course. The temperatures, and at a time when most of us are celebrating, a lot of us are celebrating, it is important to think of the less fortunate as well.
First corner kick of the match, 4 minutes played here at the Deeside Stadium, and it's Callum Brackley, perfectly poised for a right footer, just to curl this one in, to put the pressure on Harry Allen in goal for Flint. Cleared away by Danny Harrison, and it's helped on by Omar Ibrahim in the direction of Okera Simmons. Just cedes possession to Danny Holmes. Holmes, lovely ball down the wing, looking for the run of Aaron Williams. Can he get the cross in? He can, and George Horan was there waiting for it, and it needed the definite clearance out of back. Still there for Danny Holmes. Disney back to Brackley. Early pressure from the home side on the back of that long run of 16 in all competitions. Horan still there, and an opportunity for Ibrahim just to clear the ball upfield. Yeah,
you mentioned George Horan there. It was interesting because he was obviously there first of all for the corner. He worked his way back, one possession in the middle of the park, and decided, do you know what, I'm not going back. I'm going back into the attacking phase of play, and he's still up there now, Bryn. He may as well be a centre forward, but of course he's always a handful. They'll need to keep an eye on him, and he'll stay there for this free kick as well.
Early yellow card for Danny Harrison, and the referee couldn't have been better placed for that, right in front of him. Danny Harrison, what was he doing?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to have another look at this. There was a screen from Ada on the first touch. Is good on his chest, drives away. I think, does he catch him on his, just on the back? Yeah, you just see the studs on the back of his leg there. Not too sure why he's done that. The ball wasn't really there to be won, so I think a good decision by the referee toward the yellow card.
Oh, he's in a bit of pain, isn't he? We could hear the scream straight away. Danny Harrison, I mean, he's a tenacious player. He's not a dirty player, though, is he?
No, he must have thought the ball was there to be won. I'm assuming that Aaron is that it's not a muscle problem, that he's feeling for perhaps where contact was made. Let's have another look at it, but a definite free kick and an opportunity now for Connah.
Here the latest scores. Aberystwyth 0, Newtown 0. Darren Thomas has put Caernarfon ahead at home against the Ballers. A big game for Caernarfon, that one. Caernarfon in 8th position. Penybont 0, Cardiff Met, I should say, 0. Pontypridd 0, Haverfordwest 0, and it's Gwion Dafydd who's started the scoring for the New Saints against Airbus. Early goal there after his late equaliser for the New Saints here last Friday. Came off the bench as Gwion Dafydd does, but he must be starting today. So the New Saints leading. Brackley runs over the ball, leaves it for Danny Holmes. It's loose in the box. Oh, they're appealing for a penalty here at Connah's Quay. Was it after Akpro? After the ball, possibly could have been there.
I think it's a fair claim as well, Bryn. Wouldn't surprise me at all if we have another look at that, and it does hit his hand, or certainly his arm. And the tendency is you look at the players around. If there's one shouting, you think, okay, maybe it's a little bit hopeful. When there's 3 or 4 with the arms in the air, they've spotted something.
Well, we don't have the advantage of VAR in the VAR, I should say, in not yet anyway, in the JD Cymru Premier. As back on Connah's Quay again, looking for Malkin. Malkin falls for Paulo Mendes, but is cleared away by it was Bobby Beaumont who was there. And Flint just can't keep possession at the moment, Owen.
No, but as long as they make sure that Connah's Quay are limited in terms of their chances, that they'll be happy getting to about 20 minutes, no score. And then they'll just be counting down every 5-minute block, every 10-minute block, remain in the game. That's the important thing here. You don't want Connah's Quay to score early. The tendency is they do, if we forget about the TNS late goal that they conceded, they do defend leads very, very well.
Simmons forward and free kick, and again the referee up with play. Let's have a look at that incident again, Owen.
Yeah, it was just a ball into the box, wasn't it? Back pro here. He's just been fouled for the free kick. What was he like defending? You see Danny Holmes' ball coming in here. A little bounce. Oh, it's an interesting one. There's a reason why those arms are up in the air.
Yeah. His arm was in an unnatural position. That should be a penalty kick.
And it's one of those panicked situations as a player, and then as soon as you don't hear the whistle, sense of relief, it would be massive.
James Owen, he was looking for Brandon Diao there. Falls for O'Kara Simmons. Simmons turns, but he's brought down as Aaron Williams. Now then, carries the ball out. Good strong run here by Aaron Williams, chased by Bobby Beaumont. Williams still going. Anthony Kaye's equalised, by the way, for Bala after Darren Thomas gave Caernarfon the lead. Caernarfon 1, Bala 1. Aaron Edwards. Disney, he was under pressure there from Omar Ibrahim. Gives the possession away.
Yeah, I have to say, Bryn, these days we expect pitches to be superb, and often in this standard you see the 4G pitches, where the ball runs true constantly. There's something quite nice about an old school type game as well. On Boxing Day, pitch a little bit heavy, very muddy. Nothing wrong with it in my mind.
Well, my understanding, Owen, is that Flint actually offered for the game to be played at the Deeside Stadium on the new 4G pitch there, as we see that effort once again from it was O'Kara Simmons, but Connah's Quay politely declined.
Yeah, come on, play the game, isn't it? It's playable, absolutely. It's a different way of playing football. And if anything, I think both of these sides, with the greatest of respect, they can play their football, of course they can. They have talented footballers, but they will play percentage football. So these are probably the two sides in the division that can cope with this pitch better than any other, I would imagine.
10 minutes flown by. And here we see the latest scores again. Still goalless between Aberystwyth and Newtown. It was 1-1 between Caernarfon and Ballard, Aaron Thomas and Anthony Cae. Penybont 0. Met have taken the lead as the ball comes into the box. Still goalless between Pontypridd and Haverfordwest, and it's now 2-0 to the New Saints against Airbus.
Yeah, it's looking ominous over there, isn't it? Certainly not the case here. It's all about balls into the box, isn't it? As many of those as possible, especially when the big defenders remain up. You see Ben Nash here attacks it as well as most in the division, and it's good quality by Holmes. It's a deep cross, that's no problem. Ben Nash will actually be disappointed that he's not hit the target.
Corner kick easily gathered by Harry Allen in goal for Flint. Should he have come for that cross, do you think?
It's always a difficult one against these Connah's Quay players like Ben Nash, who love to attack the ball. You have to be absolutely certain that you're going to claim the ball. Otherwise, stay on your line and trust your defenders to deal with it. But we see, obviously, George Horan is a massive strength. No Mike Wilde today. But as soon as you concentrate on one, somebody like Ben Nash can easily pop up, as he did there.
Firth with the clearance. Connah's Quay keeper, he's had things pretty comfortable so far. Akbar Akfro goes from distance, falls to Callum Morris. Danny Harrison in strong once again to James Owen. The poor ball just runs through. It's comfortable for Andy Firth. Nash. Brackley. Joe Malkin. Back again to Brackley. Oh, lovely skill by Callum Brackley to Joe Malkin. Malkin just putting the pressure on Diao. Oh, Malkin, lovely run. Malkin! Ball across. Williams! And it's cleared away. What an opportunity for Aaron Williams. But what a run by Joe Malkin. Now the other side, it's O'Kara Simmons. Simmons out to Akbar Akpro. Poor ball into the box. Disappointing from Jean-Louis Akbar Akpro.
Yeah, good discipline by Brackley there, knowing it was going to his keeper. And we see this lovely skills here on the left-hand side. A little flick, sees the run perfectly. And then it was all about this man with a strong run. Brilliant play by the youngster. And Aaron Williams, it was all about hitting the target, really. You never quite trust in the pitch there. You think it's going to bobble. So it's all about controlling it. Not quite enough on it, but a really, really nice run there by the young centre-forward. Very different to Mike Wilde, isn't he? Joe Malkin, but he's going to be a threat in a different way. His movement is going to cause problems, absolutely. Especially, you know, Flint obviously will have had a couple of days to prepare for a Connah's Quay without Mike Wilde, and a player that they obviously know very well from last season. But this will be a different threat to what they expected.
So no Mike Wilde, no Craig Harrison on the touchline either. He was shown a red card in the match on Friday evening. So he's had to take his seat up in the stands. Now it's Bobby Beaumont, who does have a long throw on him, but just turns, plays the ball back to Jordan Carroll, and it's an opportunity for Mendes to clear the ball away again. A shout for a handball, but it's into the box, and it needed the defensive header from Ben Nash to concede the corner.
Yeah, surprised the free kick wasn't given. There was a handball there, certainly struck the arm. As we see here, the first cross is cleared. Just came off his knee up onto his arm. These days you do tend to see them given. Good play by Nash there, just covering. Knew there was a threat in behind, had to get something on it, concede the corner, and then trust Connah's Quay are as good as anybody at defending these.
Now it's Anthony Stevens with the corner kick, whips one to the far post. Whoa, the wind took that one, and Firth had to watch it all the way. Lovely free kick goal by Anthony Stevens on Friday evening, by the way.
Yeah, it ends up, I know there's a little bit of wind, I know it was close, but it's a poor corner. You know, Lee Fowler will be disappointed with that one, the man of his experience. You know, you're aware of what the wind will be doing up there, and it's a missed opportunity, because as well as Connah's Quay defend corners and their strength, especially in the air, you have to look at Flint and the size of some of their players. They're probably the side that can cause problems to the home side from the set pieces.
Curled a beautiful free kick on Friday evening around the wall.
Just interesting to see George Horan for goal kicks going up and joining the front line. No Mike Wilde, so Horan is actually joining and being that main man as a target.
Oh, Mendes, and he's brought down by Anthony Stevens. Well, they're asking the question, was Anthony Stevens the last man there? That's what Aaron, certainly Aaron Edwards was asking the question, wasn't he?
Yeah, you've got to ask the question. I don't think that's worth a red card, absolutely not. But you see, he's took him down. Be surprised there wasn't a yellow. He thinks he's got the ball. I don't think so. Good header by Malkin. Yeah, absolutely not a red, but it is an interesting one because John Disney joins the back line for these goal kicks. I'm assuming it's just for the goal kicks. I don't think George Horan is playing centre forward for the full 90, but he's going up to be that target man for every set piece, even the goal kicks.
And he's there now, as you would expect, waiting for Danny Holmes just to caress this one towards the head of George Horan. And it was cleared away. Ben Nash was up there. And it's cleared away upfield by Jean-Louis Akpro. Simmons. Space on the near side by Carroll. Oh, he shanks it. Bobble. And he just looks at the pitch, as all good players do.
If anything, it was almost that bad a pass. Because of the pitch, I have to add, it almost looked as if it was an effort on goal. It wasn't. He was looking for the switch. But that's twice now that Simmons has picked up the second ball and has just provided a bit of a counter-attack. And you see there, it's not the worst bobble, but it did affect the pass. And especially as a player, as it comes to you, you're always doubting yourself. You're questioning, is it going to bobble? Which obviously then affects the pass. But yeah, that's twice Simmons has picked the ball up and run at Connah's Cae. Just trying to start that counter-attack. It's a definite ploy of theirs.
And again, Horan was the target there. So definitely, as you're saying, Owain, he's just playing the role of Mike Wilde. Brackley just spots the space from by Aaron Williams on the far side to Danny Holmes. Good combination down the right-hand side, Danny Holmes and Aaron Williams. That's the experienced Holmes. Williams. Oh, lovely play to create the space to get the cross into the far post. And it is George Horan back into the box. He may have been better trying to direct that one into the far corner there.
Yeah, he'll be disappointed, you know, to be in that much space. It's good play down the right-hand side. Williams' pace, his trickery, has time then to have a little look up. Deep cross towards the main man there. I'm assuming he's gone for goal there. I don't think it was going to hit the target even. He'll be disappointed.
Holmes. Danny Holmes' his attacking intent is clear this afternoon. Ball in, looking for Paulo Mendes. Mendes does well. And James Owen equally clears the ball. Poor clearance, only as far as Callum Morris. Williams. And he's just caught on the far side there by Anthony Stevens, and he'll have to watch his step, will Anthony Stevens?
Yeah, I wasn't sure. You know, Ewan Arwell from his position is pretty certain there's a bit of a threat on the right-hand side now by Connah's Cae. Aaron Williams, yeah, his feet are a little bit too quick for Stevens.
Danny Holmes again with the set piece for the home side, back in by Mendes and forward by Ben Nash. Cleared away only as far as Aaron Williams. Back come Connah's Cae. Holmes, Callum Morris, space, time to measure the cross, headed away by Danny Harrison. Connah's Cae pressing as we approach the 20-minute mark, and it's away once again by Harrison. Ibrahim can't complete the clearance, and just shanked. Opportunity for Malkin. And it was Bobby Beaumont who was there to clear the ball away. Flint under pressure here, Owen.
Yeah, the pressure continues because they're very, very reluctant to clear the box. They defend deep throughout. They don't run and sprint outside the box at all, and that's just inviting pressure.
And it's with Ben Nash. Nash is going for the far side. Williams with the header back in. Forward by Horan. Cleared out by the Flint defence. Play continues as Danny Holmes just fell awkwardly there. And the referee just tried to let play flow. But Very nasty landing for Danny Holmes.
Yeah, Holmes is the one that's gone up for the header. I think the Flint player knows full well what's happening, so he stands his ground and he knows he's gonna fall on his back. Lucky there was no free kick there.
Aaron Williams with the long throw, looking for George Horan, lifted back in by Callum Morris.
I was mentioning there, Bryn, that they are reluctant. Morris will be disappointed with that effort, actually, a man of his quality. But if you defend deep and you don't clear the box and put pressure on the ball, you're playing with fire against Cae, because they will continue to put the ball in that box and they will score. You just see here, just rushes the effort. Probably had a little bit more time to allow it to drop a little bit further and get a cleaner strike on goal.
Headed on by Throw to O'Kara Simmons. Simmons. Nash with the clearance when as far as James Owen under pressure there, and Paulo Mendes. Oh, he does well, does Mendes.
It's close to being a free kick, actually, because Beaumont, he goes and misses the ball. I think Mendes just nips it with the front of his toe. We'll just have a little look here, and Beaumont comes through. I don't know if he touches the side of his shin there. He's lucky that he didn't. It was reckless.
And it's Beaumont with the throw-in. Neil Gibson, of course, argues I wasn't taken from the correct position. Headed away by Disney. Oh, Harrison clattered in the back by Joe Malkin. And a free kick.
I think Bryn, Malkin's just asking a question. Was there a little push on him by the defender? I think it's Diao just behind him. No, I don't think so. I think it's a definite foul. You know, Harrison, with all his experience, picks up a good position there where he's going to pick up the second ball, and he'll know how many times that will have happened to him over the years. Hundreds, I'm sure. He knows the centre forward's coming, and he does well to win the free kick. Good opportunity this now. But look at the difference with Connah's high line. They trust their high line. They defend on this, whereas Flint, you know, if it works for them, no problem. They're happy to defend deep, close to their goal.
Now then, is Diao the target from Stevens? No, goes all the way through as it was Beaumont who was coming in.
Yeah, that's the difference, isn't it? With that high line, the cross has to be absolutely perfect, otherwise it runs out of play. If you defend deep, that ball remains in play, and then you have to defend the second face.
Lee Fowler, Flint's manager, will he be satisfied?
Yeah, he'll be satisfied. Halfway through the first half, and a little bit more, a little bit extra. He'll be delighted. He'll know coming here it's never going to be easy. You're going to have to fight for every ball. You're going to have to ride your luck at times, and you're going to have to play your football when the opportunity comes. So, although Cae have had the majority of the game, he'll be happy.
Owen punt forward, looking for Simmons, cleared away by Ben Nash. Malkin. So just nicked from Aaron Edwards, helped forward by Mark Cadwallader. That'll run out for a goal kick. Joe Malkin, he's really impressed me in the opening 25 minutes or so. Owen.
Yeah, he's lively, isn't he? And he's not small. He's a good size. And equally for Flint, this man Cadwallader, they'll be hoping that he picks the ball up more in those positions there. Not the best of balls, just tries to help it on its way and hopes that Simmons then goes and makes the run in behind Cae's defence. It's an interesting battle at the moment.
After today, by the way, both sides have got 5 games before the split. Cae, well, they're safe in the top 6. Whereas Flint, well, still some work to do. Remember, on Friday, by the way, there is another live match here with us on Scorio, and it's on S4C, 5:25, Newtown against Aberystwyth. So Friday, 5:25 on S4C. James Owen lifts the ball, looking for Diao. Opportunity for Stevens. An effort comes in from foul. What a shot! What a save! It was Akpro on the volley. Great save by Andy Firth.
Yeah, brilliant save. He's on his toes. He hasn't had much to do, actually. It's about that second ball. Cae are normally onto it first before anybody. It's a really good strike, clean strike. I think just with the outside of his foot. Maybe tries to start it outside the goal and bend it in. Beautiful strike, beautiful save.
Deserved the goal. Corner kick, and it's Anthony Stevens, left-footed, should curl this one out towards the penalty spot, and it comes for Diao on the volley. He stretched those long legs to get the contact, but couldn't direct it on the target.
Yeah, Stevens just prefers to drill this one pretty low. Diao must be the target there, and he just tries to hook it with that left foot, can't quite control it. I think it comes off his shin a little bit more than his foot. But I think the positive, promising sign for the visitors will be, right, set piece, it's one of our players that gets onto it first. That'll disappoint Connah.
6'6", Brandon Diao, by the way. Must be one of the tallest players in the league. Brackley. Looking for Malkin, but Bobby Beaumont was there. Malkin just uses his strength. There's Joe Malkin. Back to Callum Brackley. Disney again looking for Aaron Edwards. Carroll was up there, just falls for Callum Brackley. Brackley lifts the ball into the box, headed away by James Owen. And Cadwallader to Callum Morris. Now then Morris. Opportunity again for Callum Morris. What are the options? Well, he was fortunate that does it fall for Brackley? No, it doesn't. Picked up by Jordan Carroll. And then James Owen just brought down by Aaron Edwards.
Yeah, just a little bit messy, which again is understandable because of the surface. We just see here both sides give the ball a little bit away, a little bit too easily. James Owen there just using his strength a little bit, knows he's under pressure, so just leans into Aaron Edwards, wins that free kick. Both teams have the same tactic at the moment. Any set piece, and the big centre halves are going forward. Horan for the home side and Diao for Flint.
And it goes in the direction of Diao, is cleared away by Brackley. And he just runs out, just shepherded out by Bobby Beaumont. Little chit-chat with Mark Patch, the fourth official. Actro. Looking for Mark Cadwallader, and apologies if you heard some foul language there. Picked up by the pitchside microphones. Brackley, does well. Does really well in tight space. And that's what Callum Brackley's so good at. He just, in tight spaces, he just finds a way out every time.
Yeah, absolutely. And first of all, it was Malkin. Good play again by the centre forward. In that tight space, under pressure from Diao. Holds the ball up, does his job. Feeds it to the left, and then... yeah, it was a foul, absolutely. And then James Owen came flying in for the next tackle as well. It just shows, hey, Flint are here. They're here to fight. It's obviously a local derby, is a bit extra on it. This means maybe a little bit extra, a little bit more than a normal game for bragging rights in this part of the world.
3 miles, Owen, between both stadiums. And as our stats person said, Aaron Edwards on the ball here could run there and back before the first time is out. The first half is over. Callum Brackley turns one way. He's got Aaron Edwards with him. Brackley. Lovely play by Callum Brackley, and he's pulled down by Jordan Carroll. And again, the referee's within yards of the incident.
Yeah, good feet again by Brackley. Tight situations, as we just mentioned, Bryn. Sometimes there's one in his face, and then there's a little bit of cover. It's a 2v1, and he just uses those quick feet just to get in between both, and then just leans in, knowing that contact, as soon as it's on his back, away from his shoulder, down he goes. Free kick in a very promising position.
Half an hour played at the Deeside Stadium in the Flintshire derby. And it's Boxing Day, so traditionally they play the derbies as the ball just whipped in by Brackley. Comfortable in the end for Harry Allen. Disappointing.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. I said it was a promising position, but it's also a position where you're not quite sure what to do. You'd almost prefer it was closer to the byline, so maybe you can get a bit more whip on it. A little bit too close to the keeper, obviously, and nobody running across him to make sure that it wasn't as easy as it was to get his hands on it.
A typical derby. Free kick to Flint. No holds barred.
Get a sense that something's brewing, just slowly. It's simmering, Bryn. Just see a free kick given there. Great play. Just keeping the ball up. 3 around him, Simmons. Keeps the ball up 3, 4, 5 times round George Horan. Horan is never going to allow the ball and the man to go. You know.
Owen with the free kick, looking again for the run of Diaw. Owen's in. And the challenge on Callum Morris. Callum Brackley on the right wing this time. Just swapped wings, Callum Brackley to Malkin. Malkin looking for Aaron Williams. Latest scores in the JD Cymru Premiership. Aberystwyth 1, Newtown 1. Same at the Oval. Caernarfon 1, Bala 1, Penybont 0, Cardiff Met 1, Pontypridd 0, Haverfordwest 1, and the New Saints 3 up against Airbus. And here, goalless, the only goalless match in the JD Cymru Premier as things stand. Aaron Williams. Williams allowed to turn and gets the cross into the far post, but that one had just curled out. I don't think Lee Fowler will be too happy there, Owen, with Omar Ibrahim. He just allowed Aaron Williams to swivel, get the cross in.
Yeah, well, Williams has played centrally quite a lot this season. He's up top, close to Mike Wilde. He's such a versatile player, he can play anywhere really. So as soon as he gets out on that right wing back position, his pace causes problems. He can skip past defenders, and then the tendency is that the cross is one of quality as well. That was a little bit too easy.
It's a windy afternoon, by the way. You saw that there from the ball just wobbling. Aaron Williams. Ibrahim just standing him up. Williams, he's got Danny Holmes behind him. Holmes just sets the ball to the far post. Ron Edwards was there. Went beyond Edwards and Paulo Mendes. Edwards. Can get the ball past Jordan Carroll. Edwards. Callum Brackley. And Connah's Cae being forced backward. Look where Andy Firth is. Almost on the halfway line. It was Manuel Neuer-esque from Andy Firth.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where opposing players will just take notes. They'll see him, get in possession there, a couple of touches, 10 yards into their half, and you think, okay, if the ball falls kindly to me, anywhere around the halfway line, it might just be worth having a little pop.
Aaron Williams, possibility for a dink or a chip there, but decided not to go for it.
It's just really competitive, isn't it? And that little sprinkle of quality, if it comes, is going to be the game changer, if you like. Not many opportunities for either side. Connah's Cae have definitely seen more of the ball. That man's seen plenty of it on that right-hand side. But you would say that the best chance has come to the visitors with that effort by Akpro. Lovely effort it was as well. And the biggest save of the game was, without doubt, come by Firth.
Back to that earlier point, when that both sides have got 5 games remaining after this one, before the split. 4 of those for Flint are at home, because they started the season with a series of away games while the new pitch was being laid at the Deeside Stadium, as the ball comes in easily, comfortably for Harry Allen. And that's going to be certainly an advantage for them. They've got Connah's Cae, Aber, New Saints and Pontypridd.
Yeah, it's just the gap, isn't it? 7-point gap with a game in hand, other than over Caernarfon. Still within, it's still possible, isn't it? But they need to get a really good run. This man will just be hoping that, the team settle in their new home or their new pitch and get something going.
What's your take on the argument, Owen, that sometimes it's better to finish in the bottom 6 and go for the 7th spot rather than finishing the top 6 and having those difficult matches for the remainder of the season?
Yeah, I would always try and finish in that top 6. I think gives you a better opportunity in terms of the playoffs. You play, a higher level week in, week out. Sometimes, although it's been done before, the team that finishes 7th has got into Europe via the playoffs. I think usually the jump up then after playing the bottom 6 sides for a number of weeks, then playing against the top boys again, is usually a little bit too much.
Lovely run again by Callum Brackley. Not that much wrong this afternoon as Callum Brackley. Aaron Williams just draws Anthony Stevens out, and it's picked up on the far side by Ibrahim. Gives it away.
It's just not a pitch to run with the ball. I know we've seen a little bit of quality by Brackley. We've seen good quality by Aaron Williams on the right-hand side. You know, those wing backs causing problems. But it isn't a pitch that you're going to be able to run with the ball comfortably and glide with the ball. So it's about moving it quickly, moving the defenders about quickly. Sometimes just waiting for that one mistake. Both sides defending quite well at the moment.
Simmons, I don't think he was aware of where the ball was there as Disney just shepherds the ball out at the far side for a goal kick to Connah's Quay.
Here comes George Horan again, making his way. Well, before that, I think we saw the touch by Simmons just on his back almost. Maybe thinking, oh, I made that run in behind John Disney, I think it was. Just a little bit unlucky with the ball hitting his back, but George Horan has made that journey up again. He's doing doggies at the moment. Not sure how grateful he'll be for these tactics.
Kera Simmons, we saw his birthday yesterday, by the way. Birthday on Christmas Day. Nash, Brackley, oh, once again in that tight space to Aaron Edwards. Lovely feet from Callum Brackley. Aaron Edwards keeps the ball in play, and the free kick conceded by Bobby Beaumont.
It's lovely play by Brackley once again, wasn't it? You can see why he creates as many chances as he does. Has as many assists. Lovely feet once again. Knows the tackle's coming in, or the challenge.
Here he goes again, Brackley. Brackley into the box to Aaron Edwards. Edwards, can he get a cross in? Can Brackley do the same? Brackley. And as far as Danny Holmes. Holmes. Connah's Quay pressing. And he goes out for a corner kick.
Yeah, sometimes on the pitch, Bryn, you get a sense as a player, right, there's success in one area of the pitch. And I think seeing Aaron Edwards, first thing in his mind there, feed Brackley. Because he can see that his confidence levels are up. He's got the beating of Bobby Beaumont at times. And you think, keep feeding him, and he will create something.
And it's Brackley with the corner kick. It's a near one for Aaron Williams. Danny Holmes. Holmes. Head down. Foot on the accelerator. Danny Holmes. Can he get the cross in? Oh, he does well, but it only falls to the Flint captain, James Owen. Given away by Ibrahim. And the pressure just comes back straight away from Connah's Quay. And it's Nash with the header. Horan falls for Disney. Disney too much on that one, and it's out on the full for a goal kick. Oh, it's a throw-in actually.
Yeah, Disney, you could hear him shout. It was a good little cushion pass back by George Horan there. Clever play right into his path. Maybe considered having a shot, but decided now the best option. The likes of Ben Nash are still in the box. Get it into an area just a little bit too much, which is unlike John Disney, one of the most consistent players in the division.
Yeah, we were discussing Callum Brackley there and the creativity. Well, Connah's Quay's main creator this season is Ryan Strachulis with 7 assists, but well, he was out for a long while with an injury. Came on against the New Saints on Friday and only lasted 10 minutes. Holmes. Callum Morris into the last 5 minutes here at the Deeside Stadium. It's the home side who are pressing, but all Flint players behind the ball, Owain.
Yeah, we've spoken on it before, Bryn. Both sides will be happy. Both managers will be relatively happy. But we've seen this sort of game here at Connah's Quay many, many times. I think Connah's Quay will feel 0-0 half-time. This is our game to win.
Unless there's a change here. Simmons, he's got Akpro. Simmons into the box, and Akpro was in acres of space on the far side of the penalty area.
He's got great feet, hasn't he? And this is the position he wants to be in. 1v1. I think he goes for a double step over, actually. I'm not quite sure if he wanted to run with the ball with that second touch. Just ran away from him. Such a talented footballer. It's just about how many times you can get him in that position, facing up the defender in the box. Didn't quite go to plan that time, but if he keeps getting the opportunities, he will make something happen.
Birthday yesterday, Christmas Day. One thing I wanted to ask you, Owain, how disciplined would these players have to be yesterday, you know, regarding Christmas dinner and what have you? You know, they'd be totally professional, I presume.
Yeah, I think the majority are absolutely these days. You know, it's all about common sense more than anything, Bryn. It's up to you if you want to have a little bit too much Christmas dinner, a couple of extra Yorkshire puddings, a little bit of alcohol maybe. You know, it's your performance the next day. So these players these days at this level even, you know, they think about what they put into their body a lot more maybe than 20, 30 years ago. I'm sure one or two would have had a bit of Christmas dinner though.
Yorkshire puddings with Christmas dinner, well, that's another argument, isn't it? Danny Holmes. Temperature really dropping here, by the way, as the sun sets. It's a cold afternoon here in Deeside. Mendes just used his body and he was fouled by Bobby Beaumont.
Yeah, I'm not sure there actually. Beaumont's just asking the question. I think Mendes it was good play, he used his body well, and then he miscontrolled it more than anything, whether there's a little tug that put him off balance, perhaps. This is a big few minutes now for Flint, because they will be happy, and they've defended the box pretty well. All it takes is switching off a split second from one of these set pieces, and generally not the first ball. It's about what happens then. You know, you'll see Flint perhaps clear it, but that second phase, Connah is so good at keeping the ball alive.
2 minutes to the break. Still goalless. Danny Holmes. Holmes whips it again. Oh, look at the curl on that one. Headed away by Stevens, and then completes the clearance, and it's Danny Holmes under pressure from O'Cara Simmons. Oh, Holmes does well. Did really well under pressure there.
He's so good in those positions. I think I speak about a lot of the Connah's key players, about their consistency. And there's a reason why they've been so effective for the last few years, and Danny Holmes is a big part of that. He is so consistent. Rarely gets beaten 1v1. Good defender.
And good play by the referee. Just allow play to go on. Could have blown there very easily, could Mr. Griffith, as Aaron Williams just crosses the ball in and headed away by Stevens. And Aaron Williams forced all the way back by Omar Ibrahim. Good defending there. Harrison, Disney. Brackley. Oh, Brackley, quick feet again. Throw in. Given to the visitors. Into the last minute. We hear there's going to be 2 minutes added on. Latest scores as we approach half-time in the JD Cymru Premier. Newtown have taken the lead at Aberystwyth. Aberystwyth 1, Newtown 2. Caernarfon trailing 2-1 and down to 10 men. Penybont 0, Cardiff met 1. It was Ryan Williams who was sent off in that match for Caernarfon. Pontypridd 1, Haverfordwest 1, and the New Saints 3. Airbus stranded with -2 points at the bottom of the JD Cymru Premier 0.
Yeah, good holder play there by Akro. Coming deep, do what needs to be done at this stage of the half. Make sure win that free kick. It just takes the sting out of the game. Another 30 seconds, gets eaten away. Get in at half-time. Goalless. I think it's been a competitive game. Not too much quality. All it takes is one little glimmer by one of these players just to change the way that the game is going.
Disney releases Danny Holmes. He's got 3 in the box. Aaron Williams just loses possession, cleared upfield by Omar Ibrahim. Aaron Edwards dismisses the ball there. Brackley, and then Malkin goes to the far post. Mendes comes close. Akpro. Disney. Holmes, oh, lovely touch. First touch by Danny Holmes to Aaron Williams. Williams just can't get the ball past the first defender, and that first defender being Anthony Stevens. Neil Gibson. He's a frustrated figure, Owain.
Yeah, he'll be having a think what he needs to say. Whether it's about getting more balls into the box, perhaps. You know, he knows these games are going to be competitive. This man will have had a plan as well, Lee Fowler. It's probably him that'll be the happier of both managers. There's no question about that. But Gibson knows, and he trusts that the players he has on that pitch, they will continue to grind away.
Into the last 10 seconds. Referee just having a quick look at the watch. Whistle to his mouth, and Mr. Iwan Arwel-Griffiths draws the first half to a close. And Lee Fowler, as Owen was saying, should be the happier of the two managers. It was Jean-Louis Akpro with the volley. Excellent save by Andy Firth in goal for Connah's Cae, and for the home side it was Joe Malkin who had the best effort, taking the place of Mike Wilde in the lineup this afternoon. So it's half-time here at the Deeside Stadium. It's Connah's Cae 0, Flint Town United 0. Stay with us for the second half. Come back in about 15 minutes' time. Welcome back to the Deeside Stadium. Goalless at the break. Connah's Cae 0, Flint Town United 0. As Mr. Iwan Arwell Griffith gets us underway for the second half, and it's Danny Holmes who had an impressive first half. Scrappy first half, it must be said, Owain.
Yeah, absolutely. Not too much quality. Very competitive. We see the pitch here. It's like this all over, really, isn't it? And that makes it a competitive, physical game. Quality is going to be down. It's just going to be about which team has the mentality to not let it affect them. No excuse culture. And that's what you expect to see always by this home side.
Flint Town United's last away game before the split. So they've got 4 home games before the league splits into the top 6 and the bottom 6. Cadwaladr looking for the run of Akpro. And it runs through to Andy Firth. No changes in the break, by the way. Lee Fowler and Neil Gibson happy with what they saw in the first half as Danny Holmes looks for Aaron Edwards. Always came through to him. Callum Morris, and it was Danny Holmes who was just caught there by Callum Morris. 2 former teammates in midfield for Connah's Cae.
Yeah, this is the competitiveness we talk about. I think it wasn't a foul. Morris is frustrated there. I think it was Malkin just coming back and just a little tangle of legs. There was a free kick. Hopefully we see a little bit more excitement, Bryn, a little bit more opportunities on goal. That's what we hope to see in the second half. And this man doing the majority of his work in the final third as opposed to working as hard as he has, certainly in that first half.
Cadwaladr in for the ball, headed away by Callum Brackley, held up by Malkin. Akpro tussling for the ball and just played forward by Callum Brackley. What will the managers have said at the break, Owain? What will Neil Gibson have said?
I think it's one of those, there'll be no tactical tweaks, I don't think. This tends to be how Connah's Cae play, so he'll be pleased with how they're set up. About getting that ball forward a little bit quicker, maybe a little bit more support to the forward players. I think the quality ball towards Malkin, if it's Mendes who's the first one near him, and Aaron Edwards, and maybe just a couple of runners when Flint are defending a little bit higher, a couple of runners in behind wouldn't go amiss either.
Looking at the options on the bench, attacking wise for Lee Fowler, he's relatively limited. He's got Larnell Cole, who came on to score the winner against Caernarfon on Friday evening, whereas Neil Gibson's options, you should think it would be Mike Hayes who would be the favoured choice, as Callum Morris is just bundled over by Ibrahim just outside the box.
Yeah, good play there by Morris, who was first to sense where that ball was going to fall and then just carried that. Got stuck in between his feet a little bit. There's a couple of fouls, I suppose, in the lead up to that opportunity, but it is the one on Morris where the free kick will be taken. I think Morris, Mendes, Aaron Edwards, they know there's a bit of freedom because they know Disney's behind them. They have the 3 centre-halves, Disney just screening ahead of them as well. Just gives them a little bit of licence to join in with the front men.
Well, Aaron Williams and John Disney are stood over the ball, both right-footers, where you'd think maybe a left-footed one would be more favourable. He's got the big men at the far side. He's got Horan, he's got Nash there as well, headed away. It was played by Stevens, and Disney came back in. And comes to nothing.
Yeah, you can see Disney runs over the ball, but he continues with his run there, just in case. And he is the one that just reacts, and the ball just flicks up and hits his arm. Unfortunately, he was frustrated with his reaction. I think he knew full well that it was a free kick. I think just that liveliness you can see on the front foot at the start of this second half. I think it's that energy that Neil Gibson would have been asking for. Just a little bit more of it in the second half. Always difficult when you're playing against the side that is happy in their shape as well, Bryn. You know, Flint have come here, and if they go home with the points down the road 3 miles, as we mentioned in the first half, they would be absolutely delighted. So at the moment, they're defending deep. They have Harrison and Jay Owen just screening in the middle of the park. They're here for that point.
Holmes, Malkin's in for it, but out comes the keeper, and he did well in the end there, did Harry Allen. He was under pressure from Joe Malkin. Did well, the keeper.
Yeah, just that ball, as soon as you let it bounce, you're asking for trouble. There was a little nudge, wasn't too much in it, but Allen would have been delighted to know that the ref was ready and willing to give the free kick there.
When Neil Gibson left Flint, there was a mass exodus of players from the Deeside Stadium, and they had to assemble a totally new squad of players, did Lee Fowler, and it's testimony to Lee Fowler and Ewan Williams as well, that they're still competitive in the league. Simmons, one of the players brought in by Fowler, building on his contacts in northwest England. Just an injury. The referee just stops play. It was a head injury. Akpro, who's down.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's landed on his shoulder. So Jay Owen with the clearance, little push. I don't think he's landed. It was just a push by George Horan. I wouldn't like to be pushed by George Horan, I'll be completely honest. But he seems to be in a little bit of pain because of that right shoulder at the moment.
Yeah, Frenchman, Jean-Louis Akpro. He's been around the leagues. Neil Gibson and his assistant there, Lee Jones, who, they did a great job at Flint, it must be said. He's in a good mood today, is Neil Gibson. He's having a joke with the referee.
Yeah, he's got into the festive spirit. I think he's cold. He looks freezing. But yeah, he looks quite all smiles at the moment. And that'll change, I think. Give it 10, 15, 20 minutes. The latter stages of the game, and it's still goalless. He'll be looking for a little bit more. But I think that smile reflects the fact that he's comfortable with his team, and he trusts that they'll get out and get the job done.
Well, as things stand, there's a gap of 6 points opening at the top of the JD Cymru Premier, with the New Saints comfortably ahead against Airbus. So there's almost a guaranteed 3 points there. That'll lift them up to 45, and Connah's Cae with a point will go up to 39. And I suppose it just makes Friday night's late equaliser all that much worse, Owen, because at that point, if they'd have won that game, they'd have been within a point of the New Saints.
Yeah, it was a massive late goal, Grim. It really was. Because you imagine the confidence that they would take. The fact that they beat the team that everyone thought were running away with it, and they closed that gap, and just to concede so late would have been a heartbreaker, a tough one to deal with. But you know, with the mentality of this Connah's Cae team over the last 4, 5, 6 years, they'll give up on nothing, Brit. They'll think, right, a draw at home, not ideal, conceding late, we'll go again, and we'll start. You know, that today will be the start of the next good run.
Danny Holmes with the free kick, falls to Callum Morris. Oh, we've seen him rifle them into the top corner from there so many times in his career.
Yeah, he snatched the one in the first half, and very similar here, different sort of strike, but not under a tremendous amount of pressure. That's what will disappoint him. I think that one sat up nicer than the one that we saw in the first half. But he'll look back and think, do you know what, I could have taken a touch actually and set myself up a little bit more. But you know, he's got so much quality. If that ball keeps falling to him just outside the box, he'll hit the target sooner rather than later.
And from a similar position, that Jean-Louis Akpro almost scored in the first half. Brilliant save from Andy Firth to keep the game goalless. James or Anthony Stevens looking for the run of Akira Simmons. Carroll back to Bobby Beaumont. Cadwallader. Not really done a lot in the match, Mark Cadwallader, so far. It's a throw in to the visitors as we approached the 10-minute point of the second half.
Yeah, he's always solid, this man. You know, I think he's seen as a natural defender who likes to attack the ball. But he's quick as well, he can move his feet. If that ball gets in behind him, he's more than capable in those 1v1 situations. And that's why he plays for Connah, because you have to be.
Mendes with the clearance, lifted back in by Danny Holmes. Akbro. Opportunity with Danny Holmes. Now then, Holmes. Just that trademark run from Danny Holmes. Oh, fortuitously almost reached Aaron Williams. And then the clearance from Jordan Carroll, just deflecting off the studs of Aaron Williams, and to throw into Flint from what was a promising position for the home side.
Yeah, it's the sort of counter-attack that we saw from the away side a lot in the first half. Danny Holmes just looking to release Aaron Williams. Probably looking to play into feet, whereas if you look at Williams's pace, the option is there really to play a little bit longer into the space, and he'll get there. He'll arrive. Not every pass, with the pitch being the way it is, not every pass has to be perfect. Just play percentages into areas.
And that was a congregation there. The foul on John Disney. Free kick goes to the home side. I don't know, when you just get this feeling that one goal could be enough. Firth headed away by Danny Holmes to mark Cadwaladr. Carroll just well, he's crowded out by 3 Connah's Cae players, one of them being Callum Brackley. Now this is Callum Morris, and there's a coming together here, and again it's James Owen and George Horan, 2 former teammates.
Still not happy.
They're not happy at all. Well, George Horan, I mean, he collects red cards, doesn't he? and James Owen for that matter as well.
Do you know what? I was just thinking 2 minutes previous, Brendan, I thought, do you know what? We spoke about it being a derby in the first half, but it's not being played as a derby. You know, we spoke about the pitch. It's not as if tackles have flew in. So it's almost as if something like this could get the game going. I don't know if George Horan's sticking the head on him a little bit there. Whether James Owen's grabbed hold of him, we'll have a little look here. I think it was before, just before that moment, whether James Owen's got hold of his shirt for whatever reason, but it looks, from a distance, it looks as if George Horan is really leaning in with his head.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that one. Oh, poor free kick by Callum Morris to Okera Simmons. Oh, Simmons just drops his shoulder. Callum Morris.
Here we go. If we're not going to get a football match full of free-flowing football, I want to be entertained in a different way. Good feet there by Simmons. It is a trip. And then the Flint players are just getting in the referee's face, asking for bookings. It's getting a little bit feistier.
Yeah, well, he's lucky not to see a yellow card there, is Callum Morris. It was a blatant trip just to stop the momentum of the Flint counter-attack. It was a poor free kick in the first place from Callum Morris. Gave the ball away. And it's James Owen with the free kick for the visitors, looking for Diaw. Simmons, Diaw. It's Henderson Harrison looking for the run of Akbro. Aaron Edwards with the defensive duties, played in by Ishmael. Morkin, now Callum Morris. It's ramped up, Wayne, certainly, hasn't it?
Oh. I don't think it was a bad tackle. You know, I think Neil Gibson's not happy here with James Owen. I don't think it was a bad tackle. I don't know if James Owen's upset a few of his old teammates in one way or the other. Worked against Danny Holmes there, who tried to be clever, kicking it against James Owen.
Good refereeing once again. From Mr. Griffith.
I'm not sure if this helps Flint. You just see here, James Owen, if anything, it's a slip. It's an uncomfortable one for Aaron Edwards. It's a slip more than a major foul. But you tend to think, right, if Flint upset Connah, I'm not sure if that's the best way to go about it for this last half hour, because as things were, Connah didn't really have an edge. Whereas if you're upsetting them, it can go 2 ways, can it? it could lose your head and maybe lose a player, or it gives you that added edge to make sure you go on and win the game.
And that's the question, I suppose. Will we finish with 22 players on the pitch? We'll say that George Horan and James Owen, prime candidates for a second yellow card, possibly. As you can see, the pitch just breaking up. And that's just going to add to the drama here at Deeside Stadium. Still goalless as we've just passed the hour. And the situation in the other matches in the JD Cymru Premier. Newtown still leading 2-1 at Park Avenue. It's now a Bala 3, Caernarfon 1, Caernarfon down to 10 men. Ryan Williams sent off. All square, Penabont and Cardiff met. Pontypridd leading as the ball. Malkin with the header. It was a gorgeous cross from Danny Holmes. And Joe Malkin with his third goal of the season. The breakthrough finally arrives for Neil Gibson's side.
Well, it's a great finish by Malkin there. Gets his head on the ball, but it's all about the delivery. We asked the question, was the fact that Connah's Quay were getting riled up, was it going to upset them and bring an edge? And that's what it's done. He's given too much time there, Holmes, to carry the ball a little bit too close to the box. And the cross is absolute perfection. Just picks out the centre forward, who just goes out towards the back post there, and almost on the back of the big man, Diao, who you would expect to dominate in the air, but because he's on his heels and Malkin is on his toes, ready to pounce. What a brilliant, brilliant goal from Connah's Quay's perspective.
His third goal of the season. The other two were against Caernarfon. And it's just what you were mentioning, Owen, isn't it? You know, just that added spice, that just little something which has just really, really riled and sparked Connah's Quay.
Yeah, you just get a sense, hey, entertainment-wise, you want to see it. You want to see a competitive nature. But I just thought the way the game was going, quite a nice game. You know, not too much action, not too many flying tackles. That was suiting Flint because they could keep their shape and keep their discipline. Connah's Quay now, they're hungry for a little bit more.
Ishmael up to Simmons. He's got Akpro in front of him, but John Disney spots the keeper off his line. That one shanked out for a goal kick. 3 games that Joe Malkin has played this season for the home side, and he's now scored 3 goals, whereas Harry Allen, the keeper for Flint, yet to keep a clean sheet this season.
Yeah, I think it says a lot about him that Mike Wilde doesn't play, and you've got the experience of Mike Hayes on the bench. And it's this man who Neil Gibson, for whatever reason, says, no, I trust you to play, to go out and make sure that we don't miss Mike Wilde as much as perhaps people would expect Connah's Quay to miss Mike Wilde. So he's played well, but he's worked hard more than anything that first half. He hasn't had too much to feed off in the box. And then that one opportunity that comes, no mistake.
Flint, immediate reaction. They are preparing a substitute. As Aaron Edwards goes down into the challenge, and there's a yellow card here. I think it's Anthony Stevens. Yep, Anthony Stevens with the third yellow card for Flint, joining James Owen and Danny Harrison.
Yeah, the referee was just pointing, accumulation of fouls. Not the first one, he was pointing to say in the first half there was a couple. Just leaves a little bit on Aaron Edwards there. He's been in the wars a little bit. He's been out and down a couple of times, a couple of late challenges, but he's made of stern stuff, the experienced campaigner.
It's Ben Hughes who's preparing to come on for Flint as they defend the free kick. And again, it's Aaron Williams and Danny Holmes who stood over the ball. It's a short one. Williams turns back. Williams didn't get hold of that one at all. Holmes, oh, lovely ball into the box. Oh, what a clearance under pressure. It was Anthony Stevens who was there with Malkin. It's a double substitution for Flint, by the way. Lionel Cole, who scored the winner against Caernarfon, is also coming on. So double change for Lee Fowler. Lovely play. Ball looking for the run of Akpro. He's just played back by Callum Morris. Firth. Oh, Stevens. Malkin just showed a little bit of inexperience there. Disney under pressure from Mark Cadwallader.
I think Danny Holmes has turned into a modern-day David Beckham with the quality of his crossing in the last couple of minutes. Here he is again from the other side of the pitch, just into a good area again. It's Malkin. It came from Aaron Williams' run there. Just no messing, no backlift. Stick it in an area and trust that the centre forward's going to be there, and he was very close to adding a second.
So double change for the home side. Now James Owen is withdrawn. That could be because of the incidents of a few moments ago, and Larnell Cole comes on, and Ben Hughes comes on for Mark Cadwallader. Stevens with the throw, just winds one up, looking for the big men in the box. The biggest is George Horan with the clearance. Ishmael just lost the ball between his feet, and it's Callum Morris. He's got nobody with him at the moment. Callum Morris just takes a tumble. He knew what he was doing there. The experience of Callum Morris.
Yeah, brilliant play. Initially to pounce on the poor touch, and we'll see it here again, unfortunately for the young defender. Morris then, it's all about his power, his pace, and he is quick once he gets going. But then as soon as he's slowed down, he thinks, right, there's no help here, so I'm going to wait for a little bit of touch. I know that Ibrahim is going to try and make right for his mistake. Down he goes. What a good area now to try and get that second goal to kill the game off.
Approaching the halfway point of the second half. And again, it's the twosome over the ball. Williams and Holmes. Holmes, as Beaumont takes a touch. And it goes out, and it is a corner kick on the far side. Couldn't keep the ball in play. And, at the moment, Flint are having difficulty dealing with the Connah's Cae pressure.
Yeah, good delivery again by Holmes, just into that area. Beaumont just panics as soon as he lets it bounce. He thinks, oh no, I don't want this to skip up and hit my arm, so it allows it, just hits his body and then get rid. You can sense that they're sensing a bit of blood now, aren't they? They're sensing that second goal isn't too far away if they just keep turning the screw slightly.
It's Cam Brackley with the corner kick. George Horan. He's got Diao, and he's got Akpro with him. Horan, and he does well to win the throw-in there, does George Horan. And Aaron Williams. Now Aaron Williams does have a long throw. Just lining one up here. He's got George Horan and Ben Nash to aim towards. Nash goes up with Anthony Stevens. Back in by Williams, and he knew straight away. He knew immediately where that one was going.
Yeah, he'll be disappointed. Obviously that long throw causes problems. The fact that Flint don't put a man in front of the thrower means he's free as soon as that second ball lands at his feet, and he'll be disappointed that he's not been able to take advantage there and put in the sort of quality that we've seen by Connah's Cae and Danny Holmes in particular in the second half.
New Saints extending their lead to 4-0. Caernarfon, you saw, the trailing at home 4-1 against the Bala, and Caernarfon in a bit of a slump at the moment. Owen.
Yeah, they'll be disappointed. Obviously it looks likely that they're going to lose that game, that derby game. That's what it's seen as on Boxing Day against Bala, going one up so early. They'll be massively disappointed because that home record is crucial for Caernarfon. If they have successful seasons, generally it's down to the Oval being a bit of a fortress.
And conceding late on at Flint on Friday night was the 89th minute when Larnell Cole, who's come on as a substitute here for Flint, scored the winner. And you know, Hugh Griffiths and his management team were bitterly disappointed. as we approach the 70 minutes here at Deeside Stadium. It's Joe Malkin's goal just after the hour that separates the sides here. Cae, well, they'll be facing each other again, won't they, in a few days' time with at the Deeside Stadium, and then Cae have games against Newtown, Bala and Haverfordwest. There's Flint, well, all home games. Cae, Aberystwyth, the New Saints and Pontypridd. So realistically, Owain, I think the top 6 is beyond Flint, obviously.
Yep, it looks likely, doesn't it? But we spoke about it, it's not over then. You then, as soon as it becomes very unlikely or impossible when that point comes, then you can concentrate on that 7. Because obviously the way the league is structured, the dream is not over in terms of European football. But up until it's impossible, you keep fighting, you keep trying to get into that top 6.
Third substitute being prepared by the visitors, and it's Harley Brindley Pegram who's coming on, and he's going to replace Omar Ibrahim. It is an attacking change by Lee Fowler, because Pegram, he's a forward replacing the defender, so necessity, I suppose, Owain, by Lee Fowler.
Yeah, I think the big trouble for Flint, especially in this sort of game away from home, it's always difficult. You get pinned back, but if you're going to be playing with a 3 at the back and 2 very deep holding midfield players, then your wing backs become crucial. If the wing backs can't affect the game in an attacking perspective, you're then left with just 3 players total to create, and we just see here a bit of tenacity in the middle of the park.
Williams with the cross, cleared away by Danny Harrison. Callum Morris, Danny Holmes into the box, looking for Aaron Edwards to Paulo Mendes. Can he get the cross away? Oh, he does. Oh, it's an excellent cross, and it's in the back of the net. It was lovely play on the right hand side, and it's difficult to see who got the last touch there. And it is George Horan, the captain, threw himself at the ball. His 3rd goal of the season, the 2nd for Cae. Cae 2, Flint 0. Yeah,
this is Cae doing what Cae do best. They keep the ball in the box, they keep it alive. So it's Mendes here, waiting for the cross. It comes, keeper should do better, no question. And it's George Horan, it's just always being on the front foot in the box. Always being ready, wherever the ball bounces. And the keeper does get a little touch, but it's straight into the path of the runaway train, if you like, Bryn, because that's what he's like in that box. He's so difficult to mark, has been for 20 years and more, and he just continues to affect games in both boxes. There's probably been nobody better in both boxes than George Horan over the years. Brilliant, and he doesn't mind getting injured, doesn't mind at all, because he knows that is the killer goal.
Yeah. His 3rd goal of the season, the 5th for TNS, by the way. TNS 5, Airbus 0.
And this is why, Bryn, this is why Neil Gibson was quite relaxed at the start of the second half. You know, you posed the question, and the opinion that I had at the time was he's happy, and it'll change if it's 0-0 going into the latter stages of the game, but he's always confident. It must be a really nice feeling as a manager, when they play their home games especially, to know, I trust my players completely. But as the game goes on, I know that they'll find a way to win the football game. And that's what that smile told me. Always confident as a manager.
Another foul on Aaron Edwards. There's a double substitution for Cae. And it's a landmark for Mike Hayes, by the way. This is his 350th league appearance in the JD Cymru Premier. Paulo Mendes departs. He's had an effective game as the Portuguese player. and also departing Aaron Williams. So Aaron Williams and Paulo Mendes departing, Mike Hayes and Ryan Harrington.
Yeah, job done by these two. Played well, Aaron Williams and Mendes. Never going to be a game that anybody, you know, sets the world alight with brilliant football. It's about effective football on this sort of afternoon, on this sort of pitch, and that's what they did. Really good player. Mendes obviously leaves the pitch, having had a big effect on that second goal with the run into the box and the cross.
15 minutes of the 90 remaining, and the points seem to have been wrapped up for Neil Gibson's side by George Horan, adding to the goal in the first half from just after the hour by Joe Malkin. And after holding their own in the first half, Flint have just been steamrolled in the second.
Yeah, they just keep pushing them back. They just applied a little bit more pressure in the second half. I think just a little bit more quality into the box. I think being a little bit more aware on the front foot, in and around that box, just to make sure, because probably in that first half, probably the least amount of second balls in and around the box that I've seen Connah winning. That changed in the second period.
Is it fair to say, Owain, when you look at both of the sides, Connah have got players, okay, they're experienced players, but they're experienced in the JD Cymru Premier. You're looking at Danny Holmes, George Horan, Callum Morris, John Disney, Aaron Edwards, as compared to the visitors. Okay, they've got Danny Harrison and James Owen, but apart from that, okay, Mark Cadwallader possibly, Anthony Stevens, but otherwise they've got players they've brought in who don't know the nuances of this league.
Yeah, that could possibly be affecting how the game has gone. I think ultimately Connah is such a well-organised side, and they have been for a few years now. Obviously the impact of Andy Morrison as a manager, and Flint this season under Lee Fowler have tried to play, as we just see this effort coming in on goal.
Simmons, and he's brought down on the edge of the box, and well, no, actually he's cheated the referee there, and Okera Simmons is seeing the yellow card here for simulation. Yeah,
he just floated his leg, he stretched his leg. Do you know what? I'd have to look at that again. I'm not sure has he dived or is there a slip? Let's have a look here. It's a ridiculous dive, actually. Not only was there no contact, there was nobody near him, so good job by Ewan Arwell. Good decision there. And I was just saying, under Lee Fowler, Flint have gone about it thinking to have success and to challenge TNS in this league, we have to play in the same way as Connah have done over the last few years. You know, you look at the size of the players, you look at the way that they try and play. So you've effectively got two teams playing in a similar way, but I think Connah are better at it, and I think Connah have better players. And that's how this game has gone, really. Really competitive, as you'd expect, and then just that little bit of quality comes through within a 90-minute period. And
one thing I have to remember, of course, is that Neil Gibson was here at one stage as an assistant to Andy Morrison, wasn't he?
Yeah, he knows the players so well. He knows the league, you know, as a manager so well. Connah are just a machine, aren't they? If they could have their time again and go back to the start of the season, where maybe the managerial changes just took effect, because obviously it was Craig Harrison who prepared them for this season and then left right at the start to lose the 3 out of the first 6, I think it was.
All away, weren't they? They were all away games.
Exactly. You look at that and you think, oh wow, if they could have that first month again, it could be very different. But obviously football doesn't work that way.
Nope. But they're putting up a proper fight to the New Saints. And that late, you know, we discussed it once, twice, 3 times, but that late goal, 95th minute on Friday evening by Gwion David for the New Saints. That's the significance of that goal is becoming more and more pronounced.
Yeah, and what it means is Connah now, obviously it's out of their hands, and they just need a couple of the other teams to step up. They need a couple of those teams against TNS to just put up a bit of a fight. But the way the season has gone, you just get a sense that the old feeling of playing TNS is back, especially at TNS, where you think teams are almost beaten before a ball has been kicked. So it's interesting in terms of the psychology of that. But Yeah, Connah's Cae need a bit of help from the others now.
Disney, Hayes, oh, the ball was on. Days strayed offside slightly. Here's Danny Holmes. Holmes held up by Diaw. Held his ground there, did Brandon Diaw. Holmes, oh, he was bundled over there by Cae-y-Castell, who's already on a yellow card, and that's the point that Neil Gibson's making to the fourth official, Mark Betch. There's Connah's Cae and Callum Brackley on the far side. Brackley goes for goal. Harrington. There's a strong run there. It's Flint come away with the ball. And it's Ben Hughes. Disney. Another one of the experienced campaigners in the Connah's Cae ranks. Fourth substitution being prepared by Flint. Lee Fowler just rotating things. And it's their number 20 who's preparing to come on. Or number 70 rather. Number 70, Morgan Roberts. And he's going to replace Danny Harrison, from what we understand. As we're into the last 10 minutes. And it'll take something special from Flint now just to get anything out of this game, Owen.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned the experience of the Connah's Cae team, Bryn, and it's so true. You know, looking at their squad before the game, and you think, wow, well, both sides in terms of age, but 5 of the starting 11 for Connah's Cae are 30 or above, and I'm talking well over 30 for 1 or 2. You know, Aaron Edwards, 34. John Disney, Callum Morris, both 30. Danny Holmes, 33. George Horan, 40. You know, and if Mike Wilde wasn't suspended, he'd be in the team, and he's 39. So they have a core of players, you know, that are so experienced. And then you need that balance. You need the energy of the likes of Brackley on the left-hand side, Aaron Williams, the pace that they inject. They just have that combination, that balance right.
Change for Connah's Cae as well. Now this is an exciting prospect. This young lad, Josh Williams, saw him a couple of times last season, Owain. Very, very impressive. Josh Williams replacing Aaron Edwards. Disney. It's a matter of game management now for Connah's Cae.
Yeah, and it's about knowing that the fixtures, they come thick and fast. They play against each other again in a matter of a good few days. So, you know, you make sure, right, I feel the game is pretty close to being won without taking your eye off the ball too much. So it's about knowing the players in the squad that, you know, maybe just need a little bit more of a rest than others.
Hughes. Here's Cae-y-Castell. Simmons, oh, he's clipped just outside the box by Danny Holmes. And again, the referee up with play, and an easy decision for Mr. Griffith.
Yeah, he's just chopped him down. The ball was there. 1 minute it was there. The next it wasn't. Quick feet again. Bang, bang. Very close to being inside the box. I think it was just outside, so really good refereeing again. And you just see, this is his signature move, isn't it? Just shift. Well, pretends to go one way, shift it the other, the very last second. Brilliant. Which makes you a little bit more disappointed when you see the dive just moments before for the yellow card, when you think you should have stayed on your feet and chucked in a little step over or two.
Well, a goal now would make for a very interesting last 10 minutes or so, as the ball's whipped in by Simmons. Well, I think poor is a worse adjective than poor, because if there is one, that was terrible.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see that one again. Has he tried purposely to go low? Obviously, you see all the teams, certainly in the Premier League, they go with the draft excluder, don't they? Behind the goal, one player line on his side for that purpose, to stop that ball from going underneath the wall. The wall can then jump high without thinking of anything going underneath. I just wonder. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt here, Bryn. Maybe he's gone for a low one.
Stevens, he does play a low one in, and it's cleared away by Josh Williams. Full break to Mike Hayes. It's now 7-0 to the New Saints against Airbus.
Yeah, it's certainly those bottom teams as we see this. A foul once again. Hayes, well, I think he's looking for that one. Not much in that one, in fairness to Stevens. But yeah, that fear factor of going to TNS is certainly back for the bottom 6 teams. We know what happened recently, Aberystwyth.
Yeah, 11-0.
11-0. Airbus today was 7.
Cardiff Met now leading 3-1 at Penybont, all square, 2 each.
Goals everywhere, Bryn.
Yep, they're all flying in, and 7, as we said, at Park Hall. Firth with the free kick for Connah's Cae, headed away by Roberts. Falls on the edge of box for Malkin. Almost, it does well. Malkin, he's injured himself there. Joe Malkin, now he's in a lot of danger here. Yellow card for Ben Nash, but Joe Malkin is in trouble here.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's overstretched. Let's have a look here. Works so hard. He's overstretched. He's holding his right knee, isn't he? Yeah. His left leg is outstretched. Really testing that hamstring, and we'll just see it from this angle, unfortunately, for the boy. He's worked so hard. His knee just almost gets stuck underneath him. Hopefully it's not too bad. He's worked so hard all day. He's got his goal, the goal that he deserved in the second half, with a brilliant header, great movement. And if anything, the fact that he is so hard working has counted against him there. Still looks in a fair bit of pain.
Yeah, I think his studs got caught, or his foot got caught in the surface, and I think his momentum carried him. Let's have a look at his goal again, Owain.
Yeah, Danny Holmes is just given a little bit too much time to carry the ball, but then once he gets there, just on the corner of the box, the delivery is perfect. It's one of those teasing ones where Alan, the goalkeeper's thinking, do I go for it? And then as soon as he sees it bending away from him, decides to stay put and trust his big 6'6" centre-half, Diao, to deal with it. But Malkin is good enough, and he's big enough, to just go on the shoulder of the big centre-half, jump sooner, which means that that spring, he's in the air, earlier than Diao expected. Brilliant goal.
Yeah, he is a big boy, isn't he? He appears to be moving relatively freely as we enter the final 3 minutes. I think there'll be another 3 added on for all the substitutions that have taken place. There's been 4 for the visitors, just the 2 for Connah's Cae, who lead 2-0. Malkin with the opener, and then George Horan as the keeper. Alan just tidies up at the back under pressure from Mike Hayes. You can't see beyond the New Saints, really, can you, for the title? No,
I think it's more than the difference in points. If you look at the goal difference as well, they are smashing teams. Their confidence levels are so high. And obviously it is up to Connah's Cae, who know that they pretty much now have to go throughout the whole season almost unbeaten, as in winning every game. Forget about those draws. But they are capable, Bryn. There's not many teams in this division capable of beating Connah's Cae if they're on their game. So then it comes down to the clashes between both sides. So hopefully it's going to be an interesting one. But yeah, TNS so far this season have been brilliant. And we also, to add to that, we speak often about Connah's Cae as the team that are resilient, but it is TNS that are unbeaten. So obviously they have that inner belief and that inner resilience as champions, but sometimes we tend to ignore that because of the good football that they play.
Oh, lovely ball in by Mike Hayes. And just an opportunity for Flint to carry the ball out. Don't know how often you agree with Malcolm Allen, Owain Tudur-Jones, that he's selected Danny Holmes as his man of the match.
I can't fault it too much. I don't like agreeing with Malcolm. I'll be completely honest, it doesn't happen too often. But I think there's a few players in the Connah's Cae team, isn't there? I think Bratley on the left has been good. But ultimately football, Holmes has been very solid in defence, very reliable as always, and he has been the difference maker, because make no mistake, the quality on that initial cross is the difference in terms of the breaking the deadlock.
Flint with possession. It's Okera Simmons. Simmons with a shot. Oh, it took a good save from the keeper, from Andy Firth. And you know what? That's really the first real save he's had to do the whole match, Andy Firth, from the effort from Okera Simmons.
Yeah, really good save, wasn't it? Good effort by Simmons, who's lively. He's a really good footballer, talented player. He did have one in the first half, didn't he, from the volley from Akpro. So one in each half for Firth. But it just shows good keepers for good teams. They don't have much to do. But when the work comes their way, they're more than ready. He'll just be disappointed there wasn't a little bit more pressure on the ball there.
5 added minutes by Mr. Griffith. Is there a third for Connah's Quay? Is there a consolation for Flint? Disney to Callum Morris. Holmes, just that experience again. You know, Disney, Morris, Holmes, they've been there, they've seen it, they've done it. Brackley. Need to get the ball in. It's Ryan Harrington who's out on the far side. That was Brackley. As George Horan lifts the ball again in the general direction of Ryan Harrington, but it's cleared away. This is Hughes does well. Throw in to the visitors. Remember, on Friday on S4C, it's Newtown against Aberystwyth. That's the fair on Friday. 5:25 live on S4C. We're into 5 added minutes here in the Flintshire derby. It's finished at the Oval. Caernarfon 1, Bala 5. With Caernarfon finishing with 10 men, with Ryan Williams being sent off as Connah's Quay prepare another substitute, and it's an opportunity for the young lad Luca Hogan, one who's come through the academy here at the Deeside Stadium, and it's good to see these players being given the opportunity. And of course, that's the rule now, isn't it? From the league, that you've got to bring a youth player on. Yeah,
Connah's Quay, they always tend to have a good couple of young lads in their ranks, a good academy system. And obviously in this type of game, when the game is won at this late stage, really beneficial for these lads. And it only seems like a couple of minutes from the outside, but it'll mean a lot to the players in terms of their development, just to get on the pitch in the Cymru Premier.
Flint give possession away cheaply, and it's Callum Morris. Looking for Hogan. Played forward by looking for Hogan into the box. An opportunity. Oh, it's the bar. Oh, almost the perfect introduction for Luca Hogan. Almost the third for Connah's Quay.
Yeah, great to see, isn't it? You know, I just spoke about the fact coming on the pitch is brilliant in terms of the development, but to come on the pitch and then open your legs and skip past the defender and almost score a brilliant goal, and it'll do the young lads' confidence the world of good. What an impact.
Minute and a half remaining. Free kick to Flint. Cleared away comfortably to Mike Hayes. Looking for the run of Malkin. It's Danny Holmes, man of the match, according to Malcolm Allen. Morris. That is Malkin. Into Hayes. Back to Malkin. Ball taken away by Larnell Cole. Simmons. It looks as if we're going to finish with 22 players on the pitch, Owen.
Yeah, we had, what, 5-10 minutes in the second half when it was still 0-0. They got a little bit feisty, and then the first goal just changed everything. I think it took the wind from the sails of Flint, who just thought, oh, we've got them riled now. We've got them where we want them, and that wasn't the case.
Last 30 seconds here at Deeside Stadium. Hogan once again, he was in on the tackle. Referee allows play to go. Mr. Griffith just has a quick look at his watch.
Yeah, we see Hogan again. Just a little 1-2 there. Good play by the young lad again. He's a fair size, isn't he? Good size. He'll only get bigger as well and stronger. He's had a good 2 or 3 minutes since coming on, in fairness.
Referee has the whistle in his mouth, blows the final whistle, does Mr. Griffith. It's the 3 points to Neil Gibson's side. Lee Fowler, well, he could be happy with what he saw in the first half, but once that first goal had gone in just after the hour from Joe Malkin, there was no turning back. And then George Horan added the second on 72 minutes to give Connah's Cae all 3 points, which keeps the pressure on the New Saints at the top of the table. Flint, well, they've got 4 home games in a row starting next weekend with the game against Connah's Cae, the return fixture in the Flintshire derby. And the top 6 just looks a little bit out of sight now for the visitors. Final score here at the Deeside Stadium: Connah's Cae 2, Flint 0. Thank you for your company and good evening.
Penderfyniad sydyn gan y dyfarnwr, ac mae'n mesur yn berffaith.
Screwfix Sprint, a noddi pêl-droed ar S4C.